Student friends, in last lecture we studied about the meaning of SCR, its construction, its working, its circuit symbol, IV characteristics of SCR and the applications of the SCR. Today we are going to study one more device which is different from SCR, known as the DIAC. DIAC is bidirectional device, means it conducts the current in both the direction irrespective of the polarities. This is the reason why DIAC is used as a triggering device. To trigger the another device is the main application of the DIAC. The previous device we have studied, it was SCR, and it is a unidirectional device. Friends, let us going to study the construction of DIAC at first. To understand the construction of DIAC, which is represented in this particular figure, that clear cut gives idea about what exactly DIAC consists of. DIAC mainly consists of three layers, that is PNP. For our clarity, we can represent these three layers as P1, N2, P2. These layers are as like that of PNP transistors. But additionally, what it is done is, in the P1 layer, N type of semiconductor is diffused or doped, and it is named as the N1. After doping, ohmic contact is taken, which is made common for P1 region as well as N1 region, and that terminal is known as MT1. Similar way, in the P2 region, again N type of semiconductor is diffused or doped, and it is named as N3. Ohmic contact is taken, which is common for P2 as well as N3. It is called as MT2. MT1 and MT2 are to be treated as main terminal 1 and main terminal 2. We can't call these terminals anode and cathode because it is a bidirectional device. Means it is going to conduct in both the direction. So that's why the general names are given. There is a main terminal 1 and main terminal 2. Thus, at a time, 4 layers are coming in working condition. Respectively, we can say P1, N2, P2, N3. That is a PNPN are the first 4 layers when they will come in working condition, forming as one SCR, conducting in one direction. Another 4 layers are P2, N2, P1, N1. This is same as that of PNPN, another SCR which will come in working condition. Thus, the combination of 2 SCRs forms the one DIAC. So this is what we can call it as the construction of DIAC. The circuit symbol of the DIAC is represented here. It includes one SCR and this is another SCR. Respective terminals are MT1 and the MT2. This symbol is analogous to the transistor symbol without third terminal, having arrow on both the terminals, named as MT1 and MT2. So these are the circuit symbols which are used in circuitry to be recognized as a symbol of the diode. This is what you have to remember as a construction or structure of diode and also the circuit symbols associated with the diode. Students, friends, let me explain its working in short. When MT1 is positive with respect to MT2, means when external battery is connected, so that positive terminal of the battery is connected to the MT1, negative terminal of the battery is connected to the MT2. As being MT1 is a positive, which will reverse bias the N1 layer, whereas forward bias is P1 layer. And also MT2 has a negative terminal, it will forward bias as N3 layer or reverse bias as P2 layer. According to this biasing condition, the working layer that comes are P1, N2, P2, N3, that is PN, PN, acting it as one SCR. Under this condition, this is Z1, Z2 and Z3. Now Z1 and Z3 are forward biased, whereas Z2 is reverse biased. If you goes on increasing the external supply voltage very close to the breakover voltage, then depletion layer of Z1 and Z3 totally reduces, junction J2 will break and channel is created between MT1 and MT2, so that electrons will move from MT2 to MT1 and holes will move from MT1 to MT2 and current suddenly increases through MT1. This happens when P1, N2, P2, N3 layers are in working condition. But friends, as it is a bidirectional device, if you reverse the polarity of externally connected battery, that is, negative terminal of the battery is connected to the MT1, positive terminal of the battery is connected to the MT2. Under this condition, MT2 makes reverse bias to the N3 and forward bias to the P region. MT1 also makes forward bias to the N1 and reverse biasing to the P1 region. Working layers are now P2, N2, P1, N1, means PN, PN. Another SCR will starts working. Because of this, as being MT1 is positive, this is Z1, this is Z1, this is Z2 and this one is Z3. So Z1 and Z3 are now forward biased, whereas this Z2 is reverse biased. But when supply voltage increases to breakover voltage, width of depletion layer of Z1 and Z3 totally reduces to 0, reverse bias junction J2 breakdown, and electron will flow from MT1 to MT2, holes will flow from MT2 to MT1, and current through MT1 suddenly increases. Thus, diode conducts in both the direction, allowing two different SCRs works respectively for the respective biasing condition. Student friends, this is how the diode that works. Friends, with this working, let us discuss now IV characteristics of diode. To understand the IV characteristics of diode, choose characteristics drawing circuitry which you already studied for SCR. Replace SCR from that circuitry by means of an diac, increase the voltage and note down the current. For empty1 positive and empty2 negative, reverse the polarity, again increase the current and note down the voltage. Plot the graph. Take the current on y-axis and voltage respectively on the x-axis. For empty1 positive and empty2 negative, we get IV characteristics in first quadrant. For empty2 positive and empty1 negative, we get same IV characteristics in third quadrant. We know how diac works. If you look to the IV characteristic curve, we can say that at the beginning, when empty1 is positive, empty2 is negative, the working layers are P1, N2, P3, N3. That keeps the voltage and current 0. Only because Z1 is forward biased, Z3 is forward biased and Z2 is reverse biased. In this condition, diac doesn't conduct the current. But when voltage increases to forward breaker voltage, up to that the minority charge carriers may conduct little bit amount of current. This region we can call it as it is the blocking state or blocking region of the diac where it doesn't conduct the current. But when supply voltage becomes equal to forward breaker voltage, totally forward bias of Z1 and Z3 is reduced, junction J2 will break down and current through empty1 suddenly increases and diac will goes into conduction state. This takes place for positive half cycle, means when empty1 is a positive, empty2 is negative. But when polarities of the biasing are reversed, means when empty1 is made negative and empty2 is a positive, then similar action that takes place, only working layers are made to be different, and those layers are P2, N2, P1, N3. Again, if supply voltage is less than VBO, it doesn't conduct the current, it is in blocking region. But when supply voltage becomes equal to forward breaker voltage, current through empty2 suddenly starts increasing. Characteristics are totally similar with each other, but one is in first quadrant and another characteristic will be in the third quadrant. It has no third terminal gate, so that's why it doesn't act as controlling device. Just it conducts in both the direction to be acted as the triggering device. Friends, that's all about the IV characteristics of diac. Student friends, let me see some of the specifications associated with the diac. The breakover voltage of diac is between 28 volt to 42 volt. Means you can increase the externally applied power between 28 volt to 42 volt and make it conducting. It has turn on time in between 50 to 500 millisecond. It has a turn on time of 100 nanosecond. It has a power dissipation of 300 milliwatt to 1 watt. So all these specifications are provided by the diac manufacturer, which will be helpful for the circuit designer by using the diac. Turn on time and turn off time should be decided within the given range, so that the further device will be triggered may turn on and turn off. For that purpose, the designer has a choice to choose the time constant values to be decided with R and C, that is resistance and capacitor. Designer came to know that diode should be operated within the voltage of 28 volt to 42 volt. Also, one has to think about the power dissipation so that temperature should not increase much more and make it to damage the diode. So that's why this specification plays the very vital roles. Friends, now let us see the applications of diode. Diode is used as a triggering device, obviously, in lamp dimmer, a lamp dimmer. Lamp dimmer means to increase and decrease the intensity of lamp. It is used as a triggering device to the track. It is used in fan speed regulator. Friends, the fan speed regulator nowadays we are using, those includes the diode. And also it is used for temperature controller. Again, triggering device. So these are the applications of the diode. Student friends, today we have studied the diode as a bidirectional device, its construction, its working, its circuit symbol, its current voltage characteristics, specifications, and also the applications of the diode. Next time we will go for the another bidirectional device which is being studied, known as the triac.